Election time in the UK, where the Prime Minister has been a bit free with the facts. So free, in fact, that he and the facts may well have been photographed together at a Jeffrey Epstein party. Greg Shapiro, United States of Europe, making fun of the EU the American way. And this week we should start off by apologizing for that previous joke, by comparing Boris Johnson to Prince Andrew that implies that the Prime Minister would ever actually be held to account. Boris Johnson, you lie like a rug. Or at least very badly tousled natural hair. Meanwhile, left-wing parties don't want to call Boris Johnson a liar because that would apparently be unsporting. If it's true that history is written by the winners, then the left might want to spend less time focusing on being on the right side of history and more time on being on the right side of history. Anyway, now it's time for my favorite top 10 jokes from around the internet, starting with number 10. Just in time for debate on climate change, Boris Johnson announced he's dropping out of the debate on climate change. Don't worry, the climate can wait, said the media, like the Italian town council that was immediately flooded after rejecting measures on climate change. At number 9, Nigel Farage released his Brexit Party manifesto, which appears to be rather small. In fact, it's just 2 words. At number 8, let's just throw this one in there. Because at number 7, it's equal time. There are also anti-Corbyn jokes like the Labour family from Adams, zing. Corbyn is a commie lying hypocrite, zing. And this one, which is a Little Shop of Horrors reference, zing. We clearly need some better anti-Labour jokes. Like number 6. Tories set up fake Labour manifesto website as party's disinformation spree continues. And here's the website, which says a website by the Conservative Party, and sums up Labour pretty well, actually. Higher taxes as opposed to no taxes. No Brexit plan, meaning the people get to decide in 2 referendums. Sounds pretty good. At number 5, who needs Tory disinformation when you've got the British media? Last election, The Sun ran this anti-Corbyn propaganda worthy of a Beano cover, and according to News Thump, suspicious object at Daily Mail offices identified as piece of factual journalism. Maybe don't believe everything billionaires tell you. Next, you'll be like this Daily Mail reader thinking the hospitals are full of immigrants because they work there. At number 4, what's the difference between drunk Boris and sober Boris? Nothing. They both spout the same load of bollocks. Government advisors baffled as Boris Johnson's pants keep catching fire. The biggest example is saying Tories want to save the NHS when the plan is to sell it off to the Americans. And who will call him on it? England, you're basically playing in a match against Bulgaria, and they've called you the N-word. Step off the pitch! According to this source, I've talked to senior BBC executives, and they tell me they personally think it's wrong to expose lies told by a British Prime Minister because it undermines trust in British politics. In other words, is this really where we're at? BBC execs say we can't call the Prime Minister a liar because people might then think the Prime Minister's a liar. Case in point, Russian meddling. According to the BBC, Boris faces calls to publish the interference report. Or more accurately, Boris Johnson's Tories are receiving cash from 9 Russian donors named in suppressed report. It's like Theresa May telling Putin don't go spreading misinformation because Boris says, that's my job. At number 3, graphic novelist Alan Moore drops anarchism to champion the Labour Party against Tory parasites. Well, with that beard, I guess you'd have to go Labour, and you probably know something about parasites. But beware, Alan Moore is famous in part 4, V for Vendetta. In other words, gunpowder deliveries to the right. At number 2, the best voting advice, voting isn't marriage, it's public transport. You're not waiting for the one who's absolutely perfect, you're getting the bus. And if there isn't one to your destination, you don't not travel, you take the one going closest. Which, in my case, I guess is Mr. Stop Brexit guy from the Lib Dems. And at number 1, if you really insist on Brexit, then hold Boris to his fucking promise. Let's get dead in a ditch done.